1, 2, 3.
At Mesa's Red Mountain High School, football is a big deal. Last year, a fullback named Jeremiah Aviles was the teammate who always put others first.
He always says, "Coach, I got you, no matter what it is."
The high school senior loved lifting weights, playing video games, and was preparing to study business at ASU this fall.
A humble, amazing young man.
That's how Jeremiah's mom describes him. And Olga Lopez says she can still see Jeremiah driving away on May 6th.
I remember absolutely everything about that day.
The last time she would see him alive.
I told him I loved him, and he said, "I love you too."
The next morning, Jeremiah was dead, shot by a teammate, according to police.
After my son was shot and the 911 call was made, that's where immediately the lies had already started.
The number of children and teenagers killed by guns in Arizona is skyrocketing, from 28 firearms deaths in 2015 to 56 in 2021, the last year we have numbers. It is now the leading cause of death among teens ages 15 to 17, even more than car crashes.
We've reached a really grim milestone in this country, that guns are now the leading cause of death for children and teens. Unthinkable not long ago, and now sadly a reality across the country.
Nick Saplina is the Senior Vice President for Law and Policy at the organization Everytown for Gun Safety. He says the rise in gunshot deaths in young people coincides with more families buying guns during the pandemic and leaving them unsecured in the home.
It means unintentional shootings in the home, which are often by children of children. It is teen suicide.
It also means an increase in violent confrontations between teenagers with guns on the streets or at parties.
We are seeing a huge number of minors in possession of guns.
That is Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell describing what police and prosecutors are now dealing with. A search of our news archive shows a deadly summer for teens here in the Valley. Earlier this month, 15-year-old Giaganette Brown was shot and killed by a stray bullet while sleeping in her own bed. In August, 18-year-old Brittany Gutierrez Begarin was shot and killed in a road rage incident. A 16-year-old girl was shot and killed in Guadalupe on July 24th. On June 18th, 18-year-old Jacob Carlson was shot and killed in Gilbert. On May 14th, 17-year-old Desiree Rivas was shot and killed after leaving a party in Tolleson. On May 12th, 17-year-old Henry Almeida Garcia was found shot to death in a North Phoenix park. And Jeremiah Aviles was killed on May 7th. Olga Lopez says Jeremiah had driven to a teammate's home to play video games that night.
This was someone that was his teammate. He felt he could trust him. He had been to his home to play video games before.
According to court paperwork, that teammate, Peter Clabrone, and a second teammate blamed the shooting on another person, but they later admitted that the statement they gave to investigators on scene was false. Police found videos on Clabrone's phone that showed Clabrone pointing a gun at Jeremiah several times prior to and leading up to the shooting. The defense team says it was an accident. Clabrone is charged with manslaughter.
If you would have known that there were going to be guns in that house, would you have let Jeremiah go?
But to be really honest, if I would have known how irresponsible the parent of that home is, I would have never said yes.
Trey Wright, bunch!
This season at Red Mountain High School, the team is off to a winning start. The shock from the shooting death still hangs over the stadium. One player is dead, another sitting in jail awaiting trial. And Olga Lopez says schools, teams, and parents need to do a better job of warning their children about this rising danger.
This wasn't a wild party where some gangbangers came in and got into a fight. This was guns in the house.
Correct.
Is that something that you think all of a sudden now needs to be part of our vernacular?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes, because this is a real, vivid example of the conversations we have to have with our children now.